but for some reason, I haven't seen any MSM networks covering this in depth. I am sure that they have journalists working for them that are saying, excuse me, this very important thing, hello. Hey everybody, it's Little Green Kitty with the Daily Greens. You can find the link to this press release that we're going to go over in the description box below. You can also find a link to our website, thedailygreens.org, and you can find a link to this press release and anything else that we go over in all our videos by going to our website and looking in the video section or the resources section. I have not seen any mainstream media coverage of this. However, I don't sit around and sift through the mainstream media very much. I usually go right to the sources. I haven't, because the mainstream media is not covering this, I also have not seen any of the smaller channels covering this, and this is something that I think is very important for especially independent and alternative media outlets to be aware of. So this is dated Thursday, May 9th. I had tried to do a previous video on this, but I was having some technical issues, so I am just going to re-record it, and we're just going to get into it. Okay. Former intelligence analyst charged with disclosing classified information. An indictment was unsealed today charging a former intelligence analyst with illegally obtaining classified national defense information and disclosing it to a reporter. This individual they're talking about is 31. His name is Daniel Everett Hale of Nashville, Tennessee. Now, instead of reading through this, because this is a summary of the actual indictment that they provided in a PDF form at the bottom, so we're going to scroll all the way down. You can read through this if you would like. This is a summarized version of what we are going to go through here. So here's the download. I'm going to try to go through this as clearly as I can. Every time I try to go through this, I start talking too fast, and then I can't even understand myself, but I'm a little bit flustered about the situation. So you can see here all of the charges that they are charging him with: obtaining national defense information, retention of the information, communication of it, disclosure of classified communications intelligence information, and theft of government property. Defendant Daniel Everett Hale, age 31, is a resident of Nashville, Tennessee. From 2009 to 2013, Hale was enlisted in the United States Air Force. After receiving language and intelligence training, he became a language analyst. While serving on duty, Hale was assigned to work at the National Security Agency from December 2011 to May 2013. Hale deployed in support of the Department of Defense Joint Special Operations Task Force from March 2012 to August 2012 at Bagram Airfield, Afghanistan, working for most of that time as the intelligence analyst responsible for identifying, tracking, and targeting threat networks and targets. In connection with his active duty service and work for NSA, Hale held a top-secret, sensitive compartmented information security clearance and had access to classified national defense information. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe compartmented information is something similar to what they did with the Manhattan Project, where you might receive part of a design and your coworker receives another part of a design, but neither of you are allowed to speak to each other regarding the designs you received, so neither of you know what the end result of the designs will be. From December 2013 until August 2014, Hale was employed by a defense contractor known as Leidos. While working for Leidos, Hale was assigned to the National Geospatial Intelligence Agency in Springfield, Virginia, where he worked as a political geography analyst. Hale was required to receive and maintain a top security SCI security clearance in order to work at NGA. Over his many years holding a security clearance, Hale received training regarding classified information, including the definitions of classified information, the levels of classification and SCI, as well as the proper handling, marking, transportation, and storage of classified materials. And then it goes on to describe the kind of training he received to make sure that he knew that the information was top secret and how to properly handle it. It goes on to say that he was aware his computer was being tracked and that he had hit the OK button every time when he logged into the computer, which denoted that he knew that it was monitored for personal misconduct, law enforcement, and counterintelligence investigations. It also says that he was aware that releasing the information would cause damage or harm to the United States or to the government and their things that they're trying to do. Because Hale held a security clearance and was assigned to NGA as a clear defense contractor, the United States government entrusted Hale with access to closely held classified national defense information. It gives here some definitions and some information about classified information, secret, top secret. It gives another couple definitions here. No foreign stands for no foreign dissemination, meaning that none of the information is supposed to be given to any individuals who are not associated with the United States. Any is limited to United States persons. ORCON stands for originator controlled, which denotes that the information should not be further disseminated to any third party without the concurrence of the original classified authority. Meaning, if your boss gives you something that says XYZ, you're not allowed to tell anybody XYZ unless your boss says, yeah, it's okay to tell them XYZ. Executive order, this number also provides specified officials may create special access programs upon finding that the vulnerability of or threat to specific information is exceptional and the normal criteria for determining eligibility for access applicable to information classified at the same level are not sufficient to protect the information from unauthorized disclosure. I believe what that means is that since his computer was being monitored, if his boss or if anybody else saw his activity and said, yeah, the system's in place and the stuff that we're using to monitor you is not sufficient, I do believe that that means that they would be able to create special access programs if they were finding that there was extra vulnerability of unauthorized disclosures. Okay. Special access programs pertaining to intelligence sources, methods, or analytical processes are called SCI programs. One such SCI control system is SI information, which refers to special intelligence. SI protects information relating to technical and intelligence information derived from the monitoring of foreign communication signals by someone other than the intended recipients. So you have a message that's supposed to be sent to a certain somebody. Somebody other than the intended recipient sends a communication signal. They are taking information, technical and intelligence information, from monitoring said signals, and they are classifying it as special intelligence. 2013, Hale used his unclassified NSA work computer to search the internet for information on a reporter. The reporter. Among the results of his search was information pertaining to a scheduled appearance of the reporter on or about April 29, 2013 at a Washington, D.C. restaurant or bookstore. This is where we're getting into the information that is very applicable to you if you have an alternative media or independent media source or channel or anything. On or about April 29th, Hale attended a book tour event where he met with the reporter. The next day, Hale used his top secret computer to search for classified information concerning individuals and issues about which the reporter wrote. So first he used his own personal computer, and he went and met up with the person. Then, this is where I believe he made his first mistake. He used his classified computer, his work computer, to search for this person. Everybody knows your work computers are always watched, but of course you're thinking, oh, I'm just looking up a reporter. No, they're watching you, okay? They're watching you. In May 2013, Hale sent a text to a close friend and confidant stating, the reporter wants me to tell my story about working with drones at the opening screening of his documentary about the war and the use of drones. On or about June 8th, 2013, that was back in May 2013, okay? On or about June 8th, 2013, Hale sat next to the reporter at a public event at the bookstore to promote the reporter's book. At the event, Hale texted a friend that he was then with the reporter and headed to a restaurant. On or about June 9th, reporter sent Hale an email with a link regarding Edward Snowden. The same day, Hale texted a friend that the previous night he had been hanging out with the journalist. Hale wrote that the evening's events might provide him with lifelong connections with people who publish work like this. So I have already read through this. You can read through all this if you would like. It goes through just the basics of their interactions. It's as you would kind of assume that it would carry out, of course. The Hale was looking for somebody to publish certain works. This reporter was publishing certain works, and they started to talk and to discuss things. And they started talking about things, but of course Hale was, he didn't want to be caught. It says right here, he emailed the reporter a news article entitled, "Court Rules Journalists Can't Keep Their Sources Secret." A New York Times journalist must testify at the trial of a former Central Intelligence Agency officer accused of leaking classified national defense information to the media. So he was aware of what might happen, and he was still actively seeking out this person. The reporter suggested to set up an account on an encrypted chat app or site, trying to discuss, trying to meet up, all of these things. So you can see, obviously, they were, connected. They have all that laid out. And then down here, it gets into the documents that he released to the reporter. He did not just talk to the reporter. He also went onto the computer that he had, his government computer, and printed off documents that had to do with his work and documents that had to do with other work that was going on there. Right down here, they have a complete table of a document, the evidence number, and then they have the date printed. They have the classification of it. So you can see some of them were unclassified, which of course is not that big of a deal, but there's a lot of secret on top secret. Document A, a PowerPoint presentation on counterterrorism operations. Document B, a document describing a military campaign targeting Al-Qaeda. Document C, PowerPoint on military operations classified secret. Document D, a PowerPoint presentation on counterterrorism operations classified as secret. And it goes on. It also says that he was caught with 2 thumb drives. The thumb drives had information that he had tried to delete. There was a page marked secret that he had attempted to delete, and there was also another thumb drive containing Tor software. If you don't know what Tor software is, that is something that is used by like dark web people and hackery kinds of people. It's a program to try to make it harder for people to track you. Obviously, it did not work. You can go through all this yourself. I encourage all of the independent media, all of the alternative media, do a story on this. Please, let's get this information out. The reason why I believe this is very important for all of the independent and alternative outlets to know about is because I have seen quite a few channels saying that they have inside information, they have stuff from the top sources, they know this person or that person that is involved in these things. I don't know if that's true or not, regardless of if it's true or not. I don't think you should be saying that kind of stuff. I understand that it gives you a little bit of street cred and it draws attention, but it's not that hard for the government to get into our devices, and because of the Patriot Act, the CISPA Act, because of all these things, they do have the right to go through your stuff and see if they view something suspicious or not, or if you're in communication with somebody that you should not be in communication with. So just please be careful. I would suggest that if you are in communication with somebody that does have some kind of clearance, don't sit there and say that you're in contact with them. If you're going to have their voice on, if you're going to have an interview with them, make sure you disguise it if you want to protect them. Please be aware that things like Tor software don't necessarily work. And ultimately, if you're going to get a hint from somebody that has some kind of clearance, ask them if they have links to public articles, if they have links to publications from the government that could somehow back up what they're saying, so that you can present it to your audience as a theory. Say, I heard this from somebody that knows what they're talking about. Present the theory, and then say, I have these other things that support this theory, and then give the sources. But please be careful. There's a lot of people out there that are trying to be Edward Snowdens and Chelsea Mannings and WikiLeaks. Here at the Daily Greens, we're all about hashtag information to the people. So I want to make sure that the others of you out there that are along that same pathway, that you protect yourselves and that we all protect each other. You can find the link to this, as I said, in the description box below. You can also find a link to our website, thedailygreens.org, and you can find a whole bunch of other resources and good information and articles by going to our website and looking in the resources section, the video section, or glancing through our quick news blog section. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day, everybody.